Tonight, Sheffield Eagles against the Saints. St Helens the lead. Of course, Sheffield Eagles, they have been known as the nomads of the game before, and they're playing this home fixture very much on foreign soil, but it's the league leaders who trot out onto the Cardiff Arms pitch first and sample this atmosphere. And quite a day for Chris Joynt, who is the captain, because Bobby Goulding is out with a hairline fracture of the shoulder. But Sean McRae is very, very confident that Bobby Goulding will be fit to resume his place in the side next week. Out come the pom-pom girls, off go the fireworks, and here come the Sheffield Eagles. It's terrific that the Eagles have brought their home fixture against the Saints down here to South Wales. Rewarded with the perfect day, and they've been rewarded also with a very fine crowd, and this is tremendous in South Wales, one of the game's development areas now, of course. The Sheffield team: Sovatabua, Soji, Grimley, Senior, Garcia, Crowther and Aston. The forwards: Broadbent, Lawless, McAllister, Hay, Hughes and Farrell. And on the bench, Price, Turner, Cook and Dixon. Coach Gary Hetherington. The Saints: Prescott, Arnold, Hunt, Newlove, Sullivan. Tries galore there. Hammond and McAtee, big night for him. Perellini, Cunningham, Fogarty, Pickerman, Spoon and Joynt. And on the bench, Haig, Matautia, Morley and Cross, who will make his Super League debut if he gets on for the coach Sean McRae. Well, we're in the shadow of the National Stadium. That's the marvellous venue behind us, but here it's all about Super League, and tonight's referee is David Campbell, and he will get this game underway in just a few seconds' time. As I say, the Eagles, blessed with glorious weather. Bobby Goulding watching from the sideline, hoping against hope his team can maintain their 100% record. We're underway. Andy Hay takes the ball on the first bounce. He will take the first tackle. And, of course, Andy Hay back in the side after missing the last couple. Big run from Paul Broadbent. This a home fixture for Sheffield Eagles, despite the fact that it is at the Cardiff Arms Park. And stretching back to last season, they have lost just 1 from 10 at home, and they include a win against St Helens in that sequence, 32 points to 18. Broadbent with another run, taking the Eagles over the 10-metre line in the St Helens half of the field. Lawless to Aston. His kicking tonight could be quite important. He was under pressure then from Booth. Prescott drops it. Here's the first try for Senior. Oh, what a start for the Eagles. What a blunder from Steve Prescott. Normally so confident and competent under the high kicks. And Prescott, it all fell to pieces for him.
Well, it's very rare you catch out the Saints fullback like this. They had many numbers to look after him, but Danny Arnold was the only one that got close. He bounces off the chest. And Keith Senior, what a start for the Eagles. They fly in early. Under a lot of pressure there from the fullback, Sovatabua. And the centre, Keith Senior, gets this game away sensationally. Seconds on the clock. The Eagles in for the first 4.
Well, he is the leading try scorer so far for Sheffield. 9 now. 5 tries in 4, 8 tries in the first 8 games of the season. Enjoying the best form of his career. And what a start for Sheffield here at the Arms Park. And what a start for Steve Prescott, bearing in mind that Radlinski's out of the Wigan side and maybe out of the international on Wednesday as well. Aston then with the conversion attempt. The lead is 6 points. St Helens supporters are stunned.
Danny Arnold went through to help, but the man that circled stopped back. You've got to go and give him as much protection as possible, and they failed to do that. It was the prop forward Adam Fogarty that really should have gone in and helped. They paid the price. Tremendous kick, though, from Mark Aston.
And that ball was caught in the sun, and Carl Hammond tried to shield his eyes, lost it. Fortunately for him, it went back.
Well, they're the tactics, aren't they? You can see the long shadows, and Mark Aston will really be happy with the fact that he's got the opportunity to launch the bombs high. It's paid off once, and I'm sure they'll repeat the dose.
Well, Sheffield Eagles won the toss, Steve-O. They elected to run this way in the first half, and it just shows you why, because this sun is problematical for the St Helens defenders. This, meanwhile, is Cunningham, grounded on the halfway line. Little McAtee is the man in at dummy half.
Big test of his character there, the little halfback, John McAtee. Seen him develop all the way through. It was a nice kick by Hammond, who obviously will take the responsibility of the open kicking game. It's a nice kick too, but the combination between Hammond and young John McAtee will be vital for the Saints. Of course, St Helens without Martin and Bobby Goulding. Severe blow.
And conceding the early try as well. And a lovely break on here, and this is the fullback, Sovatabua. Newlove's trying to track him down. Sullivan's there. Sullivan's quick enough. Sovatabua just didn't have the legs.
Great play, though, by Matt Crowther to send him away.
It's not over yet.
It was a super pass, held up to perfection.
Lawless trying to go on his own. Booth was in there quickly. Sodji is the dummy half to Aston. Anthony Farrell, it spills off him. Oh, and it spills again.
They'll play the first knock on. Well, a chance gone begging there. Superb work by Matt Crowther. Sent the man away. Great break. The fullback, Sovatabua. We highlighted them before the start of this game, Prescott and Sovatabua. But good work by Sullivan.
So the league leaders rocked on their heels in the opening 5 minutes here, and had Sovatabua had just a few more ounces of pace, he would have been over the line for a second try. Captain for the day, Chris Joynt. Here's the head-to-head between the two. 12 matches played since Sheffield were formed 12 years ago. Sheffield 5 wins, the Saints 7.
Swinging arm there by Andy Hay. Crowd didn't like it. Okay by the referee David Campbell. He was pretty close.
McAtee hoists a high kick, chasing after it himself. A tester for Sovatabua. He drops it. Booth tries to get it back, but Sheffield retained possession, so that means it's the knock-on that will be called.
Well, there was no protection there for Sovatabua, and he was very relaxed and casual. In fact, far too casual. You can see that he didn't make any attempt to go up and reach for the football.
Hammond to Prescott, trying to make amends. Good ball out wide. Arnold, start of the show midweek for Great Britain Academy against the French. Might well have cemented his place in the England side. We shall see. Perolini. Good tackling by the eager Sheffield defence. McAtee helps it wide. This is his captain again, Chris Joynt, struggling to his feet. Cunningham's in at dummy half. Hammond comes out wide to pick a Vance. 4 tackles gone. 2 more opportunities here for St Helens.
Good defence from Mark Aston. Tremendous stuff.
McAtee dabs the ball forward, and I think that's a try for Cunningham. Referee gives the 4, and John McAtee has come up with the goods. With a little kick through, it fooled the Sheffield defence. Cunningham swooped.
Nice little dab by McAtee. Came off Andy Hay's legs, and that was play on. Now, was Cunningham in front of the kicker? It's going to be interesting, this one. It's hard to see. He comes in from the blind side. Quick thinking. We'll see clearly now. Oh, it's hard to tell. But it was okay according to the referee, David Campbell. The kick's here. Cunningham's on the blind side. He's gone. He's not taking any chances. He picks up the 4. Watch on the blind side. He looks to be just offside, but it comes off the player. He looks offside to me. Now, Hayne made no attempt to go for that ball, so it was an accidental ricochet. And therefore, Cunningham should have been deemed to be offside. Not spotted by referee Campbell.
Steve kicking responsibilities with Goulding out, and Steve Prescott lands his first. And Kieran Cunningham's try then for 4 points turned into 6. We're level pegging here at the Arms Park.
There you see, there's Cunningham. He's circled. He's in an offside position. Now Hay doesn't move the leg. It comes off him. That should not have been a try. Saints were fortunate on that occasion, but they'll take it. Yet it is again Cunningham at the dummy half. He does not make any attempt. He's a full yard in front of young McAtee.
Scores a level, 8 minutes gone. 6 points all here at the Arms Park in Cardiff. Now Kieran Cunningham got a try at Wembley, and that sparked the St Helens revival in the cup final. Too early to start talking about revivals with only a 6-0 deficit, but he's put St Helens back in the frame here, there's no doubt about that. This is Lawless, the little hooker.
Well, they were fortunate to get that. Lady Luck shone on them on that occasion, because Sheffield got off to the flying start with a try from Senior, and they should have had another when Sovatabua was put through.
Another high kick. That was a Sheffield hand, though, that got to it, and the referee will say knock on against Keith Senior. He'll put the scrum down.
Well, the Saints players were wondering why on earth he didn't allow the advantage. It was clearly knocked on by Senior, but it was picked up on the run. Well, Campbell said, let's get the scrum down.
Here's Joint now for the Saints. 10 straight wins in Super League, only team in the entire game with a 100% flawless record so far. It's very much on the line here in Cardiff as Alan Hunt takes a short pass from Perellini and couldn't keep the ball.
It's pretty low. Perellini kept it down, nearly had it, but good attention by the forward Paul Broadbent. Made sure that Hunt got that ball to the ground.
Nice ball back on the inside from Broadbent. Continues this movement along. This is Jean-Marc Garcia. We saw him against Wales for France on Wednesday. Sovatabua with the kick over the top, watched all the way by the world's costliest player, Paul Newlove. He brushes away from 2, tries to go inside Soji, but takes the tumble.
Did well in the big centre then, good positional play. Anticipated that the kick was coming over the top from the fullback. Well, it's a fast-flowing game. Both sides eager to keep this ball alive, and that's good.
Adam Fogarty back in the side. Nowhere then for Pickavants to go. He played the ball quickly to Cunningham. Out wide it goes to Arnold. Arnold chips the ball over the top. Senior was there and watched it. And then Arnold followed up and caught him with the tackle.
Not the best option by the winger, I'm afraid. Danny Arnold was far too strong. A lot of the St Helens support play had not moved forward. He would have been better served kicking in field. That's perhaps what he wanted. May have sliced off the boot.
Lawless, man in the England squad for Wednesday, gets the ball away to Andy Hay. Sheffield in possession just inside their own half of the field. A club, of course, used to travelling for home fixtures, as Broadbent sets off on another good run up the middle. In 1989-90 season, they used no fewer than 7 different home venues while waiting for Don Valley to be built. Here they are down in South Wales, which is their home fixture, of course, but these two sides could both be classed today as playing away. Aston with a kick over the top. Jean-Marc Garcia, had he taken that in, it was try time. The Frenchman spilled it.
Nice option, kick over the top, but I'm not so sure that Garcia was in front. I think you'll find that he was. The idea was there. Aston knew that the move was on, but I think you'll find that Garcia was about a yard in front. Spotted also by David Campbell. Well, enterprising start to this game. First 12 minutes, both sides eager to keep it alive. But I've been impressed by the way that the Sheffield forwards are running strongly, especially their skipper, Paul Broadbent.
This is Anthony Sullivan. Anthony Sullivan, Welsh international winger, of course. His father was born here in this very city. He'll be looking for a big game today. Cunningham, McAtee, joint, juggling skills, gets the pass away. Cunningham, oh, great skill from Cunningham. He's got Arnold in support. He also has men streaming in support on the inside.
Tremendous defence from Soji then. That was a try-saver.
This is Fogarty, throws it over his head, but the referee has got Sheffield Eagles for offside. Played the advantage, none forthcoming, and Fogarty tossed the ball over the top of his head. Was lucky to get away with it because the referee's whistle had gone.
Well, that looked a little bit forward there where the little halfback McAtee went sliding through, but it was good support play. Good stuff by the Saints, but oh, bright Soji came to the rescue of the Eagles on that occasion. Good refereeing also by David Campbell. He allowed the advantage in the hope perhaps that Saints, who were really on fire then, could have gone over for the touchdown. But I'm sure that in this tight, these 2 points prove quite an advantage as this game progresses. Hot conditions, fitness will have a big bearing on who's to be victorious tonight.
So Steve Prescott with the penalty. Remember, Sheffield Eagles caught offside, had to play the ball. No problem for Prescott. Straight into the window of one of the sponsors' boxes behind the sticks at that end, but fortunately they're made of unbreakable glass by the looks of it. So the Saints have the lead after going behind early on.
This was a try-saver. Fogarty was on the move, and then he just threw the ball anywhere. Now that was a situation where the referee, David Campbell, had deemed that there was no advantage, and that was good from the merry whistleblower. Nice to see that not only the players are up to scratch, 100% eagerly fit as the players, but the referee's also up to standard too.
Coming up to a quarter of an hour of the match gone. Broadbent with a good marauding run upfield.
Now this is the forward pass that the Sheffield fans didn't like. You can see McAtee's about a yard in front. Well, at this pace, it's pretty difficult to spot.
Lawless taking on Newlove up the middle. He bounced off Newlove, but it was a good tackle in the end that came in from Chris Joint.
What a
the high kick again from Aston.
Just saying, Eddie, what a battle royal it's going to be between the two hookers.
That's a better take from Prescott.
John Lawless and Kieran Cunningham running from the dummy half. Just a little bit too strong there.
Alan Hunt just ankle tapped, and it was by Lawless. He just got a vital touch on Alan Hunt's ankle. And you mentioned the two hookers, Lawless and Cunningham. Who knows, they might be playing here in a fortnight's time, England against Wales. We will have that international for you on Sky Sports as well.
We really have some tremendous talent in the hooking role, haven't we? Wales versus England, June 26th. Don't miss that one.
Good tackling, and Booth felt that.
Oh, it's a big shoulder charge. I think it was Lawless that put the charge in, and Booth, bang. Yeah, it was. Oh, Hay went low, and Lawless just put the shoulder in. Crunch time.
The ball spilled, so that's why the referee's putting the scrum down.
He was stunned. Simon Booth really felt that. Let's hope he's okay. It appeared to be on the neck, top of the spine.
Well, he is. He's completely involved. There he was making that tackle, and there he is trying to scoot around to bring Soji down. Soji does well. Danny McAllister plays the ball to Lawless. Lawless saw a little gap. Joint closed it.
Good
with
play
help from
it is.
Newlove.
Great play from the hooker. Great to see both these hookers not frightened to run from the dummy half.
Now Matt Crowther. Gets the pass away to Broadbent. Broadbent to Somatabua. Out the back door from Somatabua. Oh, and Farrell lost it in the end. It was really again from Kieran Cunningham. What a talent Cunningham is.
A little bit of panic football creeping into the Eagles' play. It really wasn't on the cards from Somatabua. Farrell wasn't looking. I know you're supposed to be, but a bit of a panic passage of play.
Saints then back in possession. Joint plays the ball. Newlove, the acting halfback, crabs across the face of the Sheffield Eagles defence. And then going in quickly there is Ian Hughes with Danny Grimley as well. Hammond hoists the high kick. Hammond's chasing after it as well. They fancy this to come up with something, and it nearly did. Sodji had to pick up the pieces, and Carl Hammond was the man who got the tackle in.
Lucky to get away with it. He really is looking uncomfortable on the high ball, is Somatabua. But we saw again that he's getting no protection whatsoever. Well, it's a ploy that went missing for quite some time early in the Super League. The big high kick and the bomb, but now it's come back with a vengeance, hasn't it?
Sure has. Both sides have hoisted a couple, and of course the one that Sheffield hoisted early on produced the try. When they get in St Helens territory, Steve-O, surely Sheffield will use that again. Here they come with Andy Hay. Gets the pass away to Sodji, sticks like glue on Sodji, but also sticking like glue to him is Anthony Sullivan.
Good defence, but he did well, Sodji, there to keep it alive. Make sure he didn't go over the whitewash.
Crowther nearly with a knock-on, but the player's allowed to continue. It bounces out the ball, and that's a knock-on, and he's called the knock-on against Ian Hughes.
He said it wasn't, shakes his head. Now then, was it helped out by McAtee? Pretty difficult to see there. Joint was involved. According to the referee, Campbell, he said he'd lost possession.
McAtee gets the pass to Hammond. Hammond finds Hunt, and Hunt steps through, and Alan Hunt won't be caught. Hunt is one of the quickest on the field. Eagles give up the chase, and Alan Hunt touches down. Alan Hunt with the try. The man cementing a place in the centres these days, with Scott Gibbs, the Welshman, out injured. And the smile says it all.
If you stand very square like they do in defence and have no full-back, if you don't make sure you get your man, Somatabua missed him, and Hunt is away. Look at the legs pumping. Determined look on his face. He knows the try line gets nearer. Bang, get it down. Saints, watch the one line of defence, but Somatabua was just a little bit late coming through. He held back a split second. It was sufficient for Alan Hunt to just bang away. The big thighs brushed away the full back. Look at the rippling muscle there. A wonderful athlete.
Alan Hunt with the try. Steve Prescott from bang in front. The league leaders 12-6 ahead. The league leaders 14-6 ahead. St Helens have weathered the early storm, and they've come back with a bang.
There you see Somatabua. It just hangs back slightly. It's only inches, but it's enough. And he can only just get fingertips to the flying centre. Alan Hunt, normally a winger, but is making a great fist of playing in the centres, enjoying more possession, more involvement, and he's coming up trumps.
Matt Crowther, young man, filling in, of course, for the injured Ryan Sheridan. He takes the first tackle. This now is Andy Hay. Wrestled to the floor by Ian Pickavance. Broadbent. Broadbent takes something to bring him down, and it took three. Well, the injured St Helens skipper Bobby Goulding is watching on sideline. He's with Alistair.
Bobby, obviously it's not quite the same as playing, but you seem to be living every tackle.
Yeah, I am living every tackle, you know. All the teammates out there, they're doing a good job at the moment. We've lost the ball a couple of times, you know, we've not completed our sets of six. But isn't it great to see Alan Hunt going under, that moves what you work in training on.
Obviously, the important thing that we've noticed so far is the bomb. That's one of your little tricks, isn't it?
Yeah, John McAtee's come in today, and he is a great player, is John. And you know, he's got a good kicking game, and he put a bomb up for the. You know, we got the ball back. You know, when the first bomb went up, and he shoved a lovely little grubber through, and hopefully we can go on from here.
Obviously, it's one of those things that seems to have gone out of fashion and come back in again, the bomb.
Well, that's right. You know, Mark Aston, you know, they scored off it with the first try. I don't think you can take anything like the bomb out of your game, and it's proved worthy on a couple of occasions tonight.
Just one last thing, looking around at the crowd, the atmosphere seems to be a success, this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is a success. You know, with a game like Rugby League, it's bound to be a success, and you know, the Welsh public seem to have come out in the thousands.
Indeed they have. Bobby Goulding, St Helens captain, taking every tackle, kicking every ball, and kicks in general play. Sheffield, you might have noticed, just slightly ahead on the count. The match so far, and Bright Sochi went without the ball then. Comes up with a blunder, 10 yards from his own line.
Oh, horrible mistake. Look at that. Went behind him and completely lost control. Knock on from the very first tackle. Brings tears to the eyes of not only the players but the coaches, and Gary Hetherington will be far from impressed with that from one of his senior players.
Hammond gets the ball away to Prescott, who picked it up well. Good job that Garcia and Senior were there to haul him down. Senior again in on the tackling. McAtee gets the ball away to Fogarty, and Adam Fogarty tries to use his weight and strength. Sheffield anxious not to concede any penalties near their own line. That wasn't the best pass. Cunningham acknowledges the fact McAtee had no chance. Grimley picks it up for the Eagles, and this now is Sovatabua.
Well, they breathed a sigh of relief to the Sheffield Eagles. Cunningham made a real meal of that one. Couldn't blame McAtee. It was a spiral pass that was going right into the ground. Oh, he tried to the youngster and nearly got away with it.
Saints waiting to make a change. Vila Matautia is about to come on for Adam Fogarty, but Sheffield spill the ball, and that allows Matautia the chance to come on. Big men being spelled in warm conditions like this. I must say, nothing like as tropical as last night and Wednesday in Carcassonne, but warm enough just the same, and Fogarty taking plenty of water on board wisely.
It was great defence there by the winger Anthony Sullivan that dislodged the football. Well, you expect a lot of mistakes when the game is played at this pace. Sweaty palms out there, pretty warm conditions. Both sides really keen to get on with it.
Matautia, real roughhouse of a forward, this fellow. Now Cunningham attacking them down the blind side. Matautia again. A brave tackle from Crowther. It needed to be. Quick play the ball. The defence is stretched here. A hole has appeared, and in goes Hammond. Carl Hammond comes up with the goods. The defence was stretched out wide. They were expecting the ball out long, and Hammond took them on up the middle.
Three great runs from the forwards. Ball out wide. I'm afraid Aston and Sovatabua was nowhere at home. Neither was Hay. Little roll of the body. Hammond, look at that. Neat little dummy. Just roll it across the chest. Slung out the arms. Hay will go in. He takes it far too late. That was a good try, well worked, but full credit to the Saints forwards. Three great drives. Quick play of the ball. It caught the defence. You can see the Sheffield Eagles hanging back. Sovatabua was not in the best position. Neither was Hay.
So Carl Hammond's try, and Steve Prescott impeccable with the kicking so far. Another one from bang in front. And a match that started catastrophically for Saints has turned round very much in their favour now.
There the two defenders come through, and it was just a roll of the ball across the chest, and you can see it. Sovatabua went for the dummy runner. Hay couldn't fill the gap. Much to the glee of the standoff Carl Hammond. Fine try.
Well, he's played one match at loose forward, 9 at standoff. The £85,000 signing from Widnes. But that try from Hammond, tremendous effort from him. And it means that Saints are on course to go 4 points clear.
Bit high from Joint.
It did.
Broadbent felt it.
It's Matautia who's picked out.
Well,
he
they
got
both
him
went. Joint got him first. Matautia thought they'd go in for the double shuffle. Oh, one way of knocking the cards apart. They dealt a couple of aces that Broadbent would not like. And they were both on the sleeve, weren't they?
Dixon has come on, and there he is immediately involved in the action, but grounded on halfway. The Eagles now attacking down this blind side, and Andy Hay.
They've got to quickly get it back into the game, the Eagles. They've got to start the mixing and matching. That's much better, bringing the players back on the angle. That's where they were finding the gaps early in this game, in the St. Helens defence.
Lawless. Good tackling from Pickavans that time. Farrell off the ground to Aston. Crowther now. Crowther gets it away to Hay. They keep the movement going. This is Aston. Good play. And now it's with Ian Hughes. But the St. Helens defence just cuts the options down. Aston with a high kick to the corner. Tap back. It's still there with Aston. The ball out wide. Dixon. He's plunked the ball down. I think that's a try. It is. Well, they did brilliantly well then, the Eagles, to keep that ball alive. And it went on that far side like a ping pong ball or a pinball machine. Dixon with the try, though.
What on earth was the St. Helens defence doing here? It was a good knockback by the Grimley, I think it was. No, it was Senior that knocked it back. And work from Aston was superb. Dixon finds himself out wide on the wing. His strength is enough. Fine try. But the Saints defence just stood around. Okay. They thought, let the Sheffield man get to it. Now this is where Senior does well, knocks it back. Look how the Saints players just in and out. Shake it all about. No one got anywhere near. They should have come back a lot quicker than that.
Well, he's only just come on, Paul Dixon. But he's got Sheffield Eagles back in this match, and if Aston can just slide this over from the far side, they're really in the hunt. And Aston has done exactly that. Eagles 12, St. Helens 20.
There you see the Saints defenders, they just thought, oh, well, they'll get used to it. No problems, no danger. Far too late. You've got to fight in defence with the same vim and vigour as you do in attack. Otherwise, that is what occurs.
How many times in his career has Paul Dixon popped up on the left wing and scored a try, I wonder? But how vital that might be.
Well, you normally blame a prop or a second rower to be in that position, having a little rest, but not on that occasion. He followed the kick very well indeed. Came up trumps.
Well, he's approaching 500 career appearances, Paul Dixon. That was a sweet moment for him. There he is now, leading from the front in the tackling on Perolini.
Well, the Saints coach, Sean McRae, won't be happy with that. Well, Mark Aston, yeah.
Done well in general play, hasn't he? And he's done well also from the floor with his place kicking.
Two big bombs come up with both tries for Sheffield. The tactics are working.
Little kick over the top from McAtee. Aston's after it. Somatabua is there. He picks up the ball, and Somatabua takes them on at the middle. Doesn't get past Matautia, though.
Well, Aston called for it. Got the lucky bounce. Prescott was eager coming in, and good play though by Somatabua. Very fast off the mark.
Farrell plays the ball to Lawless. Again, they come down this short side with Dixon.
Good quick play of the balls by the forwards. They're driving the Saints back.
Crowther does well, gets the ball back to Andy Hay.
Sheffield need to have a few more dummy runners to try to stretch the defence.
That's a great run, though. Super run that from Darren Turner. 58 metres they've made. I wonder if Aston's tempted with another high kick. He is. Prescott's underneath this. The pressure, but well taken. Senior was hunting a second try, and Prescott said there's no chance this time.
Well, it was like Custer's last stand, wasn't it? Everyone else was coming towards him. The Saints players, they didn't get back to help him. Good job he took it. Tremendous take under pressure from Prescott.
Booth is grounded midway inside his own half of the field. St Helens' last away win against Sheffield, 1992, when they won 18-10 at the Don Valley. 2 wins in 6 visits to Sheffield. They'll be delighted to be here in Cardiff, and even more delighted if they can turn round at half-time with this 8-point lead intact. The kick, I was going to say, was far too deep, and it was. Garcia, well, for mine, Steve, we should let that go and take the tap on the 20.
Well, it was a nullified tackle, wasn't it? So he took the gamble on it. But as it turns out, it was a good tackle from Matautia. Sovatabua really felt that.
Oh, this is a good break, though. Terrific take from Danny Grimley. Oh, interception! Sullivan, easy. Man holds his head in his hands, Matt Crowther. And that was a gift for Anthony Sullivan, the Welsh international, like picking cherries off a tree. Sullivan's try.
He took the gamble, did the wingman. He was all at sea. It was a try the other end for Soji if he'd have missed it. And the gamble paid off. They worked the blind side quickly. Crowther held it there. Sullivan picked it off. Lovely stride. Great balance. Sullivan in for a try. And that is a great boost for the Saints side. Just before the half-time break. Just what you need.
Anthony Sullivan, 13 Welsh caps, 20 tries in the centenary season. Hasn't really come alive in Super League yet. That's only his 3rd of the campaign. But it just perhaps snuffs out the revival that Sheffield Eagles were building. Steve Prescott, 4 from 4. And make that 5 from 5. Kicking well. Ace kicker Goulding's off the field injured, but they've got a great reserve in Prescott.
Sullivan took a gamble. If the ball had been missed, Soji was away. They had the overlap. He took the gamble. Tremendous effort from Sullivan. He's fast.
Certainly too quick for the Sheffield Eagles defence. No doubt about that. Prescott restarts. Sovatabua will run the ball back from the kickoff. Only as far as Perolini and Cunningham, though. Less than 5 minutes to go now to half-time. Dixon, whose try looked to be dragging Sheffield back into the match. Saints, though, the ideal response. Senior. Wrestled to the floor. Hammond. Aston to Farrell. Farrell thought about one over the shoulder as he took the tackle from Perolini. Thought wisely better of it. Now he is broadbent. Good movement from the Sheffield Eagles. And amazingly, Sheffield have had more of the possession in this first half, but the Saints have scored 26 points to 12. And the kick downfield is far too long from Mark Aston.
Not happy with it. Far too strong. But the Sheffield fans not too happy with the referee, David Campbell. They thought that Saints were creeping up inside the 10 metres, but they've got away with it.
Cunningham directing the operations at the dummy half roll, and what a blunder then. That was Pickavance who's gifted it back to the Eagles.
Deary me, what a great tackle from Kieran Cunningham, because that was try time. Oh, a saver.
Lawless again clapping his hands at dummy half. The Eagles believe they have something on here. They keep the movement going again.
Looking to get away with a Shepherd. It was only because the dummy runner was so wide away from the ball carrier that I feel that Campbell allowed it to go.
Crowther drops it.
Well, it's not going right for him, is it? The man that gave away the interception a couple of minutes ago, you can see he was looking for the inside pass. Broadbent was going to be steaming back on the inside there. Planned move. But you've got to be able to make sure you have possession before that can come about.
Well, Matt Crowther filling in for the injured Ryan Sheridan, and the bad news is that Sheffield Eagles think that they might have lost the services of Sheridan for the rest of the Super League season, and they are missing him.
Talking of missing players, I feel that St Helens are missing the ball handling skills in the forwards of McVie. It's only individual skills really that's got St Helens to the position they're in now, 26-12. It would be quite comfortable, and I'm sure that Sean McRae will be pleased with the scoreline. But they really have not got into the swing of things yet, Saints.
Well, so many stars missing, of course, and players missing on both sides. But it's a real test from here on in, the second half of the season, of every squad in Super League, whether you're at the top or the bottom.
Well, an ironic cheer from the crowd on this occasion. Campbell has picked up the quick advancing Saints defence.
Yes, ironic. Standing ovation for Mr. Campbell from the Sheffield Eagles supporters. Broadbent runs it at them first time, but only 3 penalties in this match. 2 for Sheffield, 1 for St Helens. And I'm afraid they're falling into the trap of 1 or 2 other sides that we've seen on Sky Sports this week, particularly from the other side of the channel. They are squandering the possession. Darren Turner is the latest culprit.
Caught one for his corner as well from the centre, Hunt. Well, bad mistakes coming at vital times. They really needed to put points on the board just before the half-time break. Lift their confidence. It'll be up the jumper time now by Saints. Just play it out, 1 out, and then the kick. They know there's barely seconds remaining of this first half.
Prescott. Good tackling by Dixon. Newlove. They're watching Newlove very closely. Sheffield Eagles keeping him relatively quiet. Remember, I said that in a recent commentary about Paul Newlove, and he immediately scored a try. That ball was lost by Kieran Cunningham. The Welsh international shakes his head. He doesn't believe it was.
Well, either way, it was a man-on-man tackle, so that's play on. It was deemed to be a knock-on. Now, the reason why he's brought the scrum back, because the referee has deemed that Sheffield did not get any advantage. You can see that the ball had gone back 10 metres. That's fine refereeing from Campbell.
Good ball from Aston. Tried to step round the St Helens defender, couldn't get away from him. And Alan Hunt, he has scored 1 of the 4 tries that St Helens have run in. 2 from Sheffield Eagles, as Mark Aston and Paul Broadbent debate the way the first half has gone. Paul Dixon, his introduction to the match, had an immediate response with his try, but that picture really sums up the guts and determination in this St Helens team. The league leaders ahead at half-time.
What mysteries wait in the darkness? Who knows what terrors prowl in the underworld? The Shadow knows. The British TV premiere of The Shadow, 10:30 tonight on the Movie Channel. The Shadow, just one of 55 film premieres on Sky's 3 great movie channels in June.
Call 0990 10 20 30 and we'll switch you on.
Warning from Thompson's Waterproofing. Water could be attacking your brickwork right now.
Stop it with Thompson's Water Seal. It's this easy. It forms a waterproof barrier so rain can't damage your bricks.
Spend a few quid on Thompson's or it could be a few hundred on repairs. Thompson's Water Seal and Thompson's Roof Seal. Buy now. Don't pay later.
We can't allow this to happen.
You what?
What you propose threatens our very existence. Suppose you were to go back and inadvertently kill your own grandfather, changing the course of history. This facility must be terminated.
It's not doing any harm.
You wrote to your brother. I have cracked it, our kid. I can now isolate a single second in time. I'm in control. I needn't worry about me finances again.
With the Vodafone digital network, I'm charged by the second, not the minute. So I'm finally in control of me finances.
The Vodafone network. You were talking about your phone bill.
Yeah, and excuse me, but how could a karaoke machine kill me granddad? So rarely cross the Mersey.
We'll just have to keep on looking.
The Vodafone network. You are not alone.
Half-time here at Cardiff Arms Park, and St Helens ahead by 26 points to 12. They've run in some great tries: Cunningham, Hunt, Hammond and Sullivan. Prescott kicked well. Senior and Dixon. Aston with 2 goals for the Eagles. We've seen some great skills. Let's get the view of the Bath coach, Brian Ashton, who is our special guest on this special occasion. Some good tries.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far, yeah. I've got a feeling the longer the game goes, that the more Saints are going to pull away. I think they've got the cleverer runners. I think they're posing more problems for the Sheffield defence and vice versa, Sheffield for St Helens. Sheffield seem to be more direct, and the defence can always cover those if they tackle well enough. But the St Helens lad running some good angles. They've also got some good individual runners, both up front in the forwards and out in the backs as well. I'm very impressed with Alan Hunt, who I thought has had an outstanding first half.
Do you agree with Steve-O, who mentioned in commentary that it was sort of all very much one-out skills from the forwards because they're missing this big Australian Derek McVie at the moment?
That's right, yes. I was quite surprised, actually, because I thought St Helens might have played that little bit wider, and maybe that's the reason why. Because they've actually played the first receiver, I think you call it in rugby league, has actually taken quite a lot of tackles, and I just felt if they stretch the Sheffield defence that bit further, then, as I said before, they've got the talented runners to maybe take some benefit from that.
Well, certainly without Martin and Goulding, they still have a lot of pace in the backs, don't they?
Oh, tremendous, yeah. And I mean, as I said before, Hunt, before he scored the try that he got, he made 2 or 3 tremendous breaks from inside his own 25 area, and he looks a very, very good player.
Steve-O, they got back into contention after Prescott had made the awful mistake early on and gifted the try to Senior with a try with a touch of controversy about it. I mean, was he offside, Cunningham, or wasn't he?
Well, it was in an offside position, and it's obviously the referee Campbell has deemed that the ball has ricocheted off Andy Hay's leg, and that Hay has made a move for it. I don't think it did, but the situation where you can see on your right-hand side that it comes through. Now, in my opinion, I did not think that Hay made a move for it. I thought that he had no chance to make a move for it because the ball was travelling so quickly. But I'm not the referee, and well, controversy...
Just watch his foot. It does come up, look. He doesn't really play it, though, does he?
Not really, not really. I mean, when someone puts the boot to the ball, it's very, very difficult to make a decision on that. But it went the Saints' way, and it's what they needed, because it was a great start. Sheffield could actually have been 12 points in the front, I mean, it was a wonderful break by Sovatabua. They just didn't have the legs. And thankfully, Sullivan is really in top form. Sullivan's cover defence on that occasion was absolutely superb. Now, this is a kick.
This is Keith Senior's try.
The bomb right in the air. Now then, let's just hold it there. Now, there's Danny Arnold. He's coming through. He's going to protect. But the rest, I'm afraid, decided to leave him all on his own. Bang. And that was a gift try.
It was, and in the first minutes as well.
And really, mistakes has been the reason why most of the tries have been scored. We know that. That's mainly because of the pressurised defence that's moving up. Sheffield will be a little bit upset with the fact that they've worked so hard and not come away with so many points. But the individual brilliance of the Saints side is as such. And good credit to them, because we mentioned that McVie, they don't have him out on the field, so they're trying to keep the ball away from it. Cunningham running from dummy half, he makes a quick break, then the big forwards take it on. But the key factor is that Saints are playing the ball extremely quickly. They're catching the Sheffield Eagles defence out, and then once the ball comes out wide, the Eagles defence is all at sea.
Well, I know that the man who has caught Brian Ashton's eye is Alan Hunt, and Brian, I think maybe we can actually see the Alan Hunt try, and you know, I know you're impressed with him.
Very much so, yes. I mean, I've seen Alan play before, more on the wing. I've never seen him in the centre before, but he's got I mean, that's partly the man giving the ball, but also because he delayed the pass right until the defence was on top of him. But the angle that Alan Hunt took up, and it was such a late change of angle that the defence just couldn't regroup. And that was it. Once through the first line of defence from a scrum, that's it, you're away.
And look at the determination on his face.
Tremendous.
He's never going to be stopped.
Well, watch him running down towards this end. There's no way anyone's going to catch him, that's for sure.
Mind you, you'd have to be a brave man to stand in front of him, wouldn't you, when he's in that sort of mood with that look in his face?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a gamble that a lot of people do take these days, especially coaches. I mean, you know the responsibility on a coach and the players, but for some unknown reason, we do play this Australian style at the scrum base, where all the one line goes through. And if one mistake, if one man just hangs back for that split second, and that's what occurred there. Sovatabua was too slow to move through, and he just couldn't get the full impact of the tackle. Alan Hunt is a very, very strong runner. Big thighs. If you don't get him squared on, bang, you're away and you're through. But full credit to St. Helens. They played the late pass. Man has to be there.
Good stuff in the first half from Saints, and quite a good contest as well, because Sheffield Eagles are still not out of this, believe me. We have the second half to come. The Saints, though, have this very proud 100% record, the only one in the entire game at the moment, and they have to defend that in the second half. They're ahead 26-12 at the break.
We've all done it, haven't we? You're about to ring an old friend, and then you think to yourself, perhaps not. It might be a bad time. Well, you could ask them.
June, great to hear from you.
Is this a good time?
Well, we have got a bit of a crisis on at the moment.
The mice have escaped.
Half an hour, would you? Great. Then we can talk in peace.
Oh, thanks for calling back, June. Oh, Tina left the cage door open. One of the mice is still missing, but I'm sure it'll turn up. Listen, you'll never guess what's happened to Linda.
There you go. Now you've got time to have a proper natter.
What? Sideways?
See? It's good to talk.
Nothing can give you a cool mental lift like Wall's Solero. Exotic fruit puree and creamy vanilla ice cream, all in one. Wall's Solero, the mind cooler.
I see skies are blue, clouds of white,
but how fine it sounds.
the bright blessed day.
I have a dream.
Dark sacred
My poor little children will not be judged by the
to
color of their
myself,
skin, but by the content of their character.
what a wonderful world.
Everything I owe is yours. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Вот тебе засела.
Viu? Pois voltou com licença dele, certo, Ceresco?
The special edition might provide. Ask before you borrow it.
Prince Nassim. Do you watch him for the clinical finish?
Beautiful, cracking, timing shot.
For the showmanship?
You know my style. I'm too cool.
Or because you want someone to bring him down? Could this be that someone? Hamed defends his world featherweight title against the #1 contender, Daniel Alithea.
I think he's a good fighter. He's shown me on my back foot.
You're only the best if you can beat the best. Big Time Boxing, tonight at 8, live on Sky Sports.
Sheffield 12, St Helens 26 here, live on Sky Sports tonight. We're at the Cardiff Arms Park. It's a lovely summer's evening here in South Wales. And shirt sleeve order is the order of the day. The Saints have travelled. Sean McRae's army is down here. And there are plenty of Sheffield Eagles supporters and quite a few neutrals as well. They all came to see the South Wales curtain raiser, of course, at 3:30. South Wales winning, and then they've come to see the likes of Apollo Perolini, the St Helens big, tough, raw-boned prop forward in the Super League. And there is big talk that this could be the next venue for Super League in 1997. Certainly, Steve-O, the response tonight has been most encouraging.
Yeah, they must be very pleased. They're all enjoying themselves. Good entertainment too. It's all about the family entertainment. Bring along your kids, have a good time and see some of the greatest athletes in the world.
And at this place, with all the flats and penthouses around the place, at the far side, you don't even have to pay your money to come along and watch the event. Sitting on the balcony. Not bad, is it? You can have your tea on a Saturday, you can sit on your balcony, and you can watch a match like this. Terrific. Knock on against Matautia.
I'd put the rent up, me. Well, they lost control of this one. See the impact. I'm not too sure there wasn't a hand in there either. Here's an old-timer, has been around a while, Paul Dixon, but they got away with it.
So Sheffield needs something quickly at the start of this second half. I'm sure that has been the message from their coach, Gary Hetherington. Anthony Farrell is wrestled to the ground by Pickavance. It's Lawless into the arms of Aston. Aston then to his skipper Broadbent. Good tackling by Booth.
Sheffield not out of this game.
This is Turner. Good run from Turner. He crashes through the first line of defence, but can't get away from Perolini and Simon Booth. Aston is there, gives it to Crowther. Crowther takes it on up the middle.
Good defence from Hammond. We're getting back to think about the Eagles not out of this match. I'm sure that their coach Gary Hetherington will have had plenty to say to them. They've got the skills out there. And St Helens do have a problem at times in going to sleep. And that's a good kick and chase.
Great chase. It was Aston's kick through, and Grimley and Sodji and Lawless were there to haul him down, Steve Prescott.
The kickers is only as good as the chasers, and it was excellent on that occasion. Bright Sodji leading the way.
So a drop out from their underneath their own sticks from Hammond, and it doesn't make too much ground. Andy Hay can run this ball back at them. Midway inside the St Helens half of the field now on the first tackle. Big chance here for the Eagles with Broadbent. Broadbent trying to take on Newlove on the outside. Sullivan comes in to help him out. Lawless in at dummy half, attacking the short side again, as they have done so often here tonight. Aston, long ball to Crowther, further wide then to Turner. Over the top it comes to Senior. Senior's got Garcia outside him. Senior cutting inside. Good strong run. Support is there from Sovatabua, and Sovatabua scores. And that's exactly what the Eagles wanted. But credit that with fine play from the Eagles to, first of all, keep the ball alive, and then Keith Senior did so well.
Good work. They worked the blind side by Broadbent and Lawless, and then the quick link out wide, and it was superb. Long ball, and watch how Senior dances in and out. The cover defence was all at sea, and good support play, and what great hands. The fullback gleefully takes the 4. What a way to bounce back. The long ball from Aston splits them again. Crowther sends it on, and then bang, Senior's skills. What's the step here? Turn them inside out. Nothing that Hammond could do, but that is great support play. He's in fine form as the fullback, Sovatabua.
And from bang in front of the sticks, Mark Aston adds the extras. We said at half-time, Sheffield Eagles aren't out of it, 18-26. And the Fijian international has come up with the goods.
Good play, but good support. And what brilliant hands from Sovatabua. Fingertip control. He's happy. So are the Eagles. They've started to fly again. They were grounded for a while, but the wind is well and truly beneath their wings now.
Well, Gary Hetherington signed Sovatabua last November, and he always thought, and that's a knock-on, great defence again, he always thought, did Gary Hetherington, that Sovatabua would come good in the summer. Look at that tackle. Darren Turner.
Good contact from Turner. Upper body strength. He's not happy with it, is the centre, Alan Hunt.
Crowther now for the Eagles. They keep the ball alive again. This is Sovatabua once more, stolen from him, one-on-one. Perfectly legal these days.
Well, we haven't seen much from the big centre, have we? Paul Newlove came to the rescue then. Early in the tackle count too. They really will be spitting chips, the Sheffield Eagles, after that one. Really should have kept hold of it, but good quick thinking by the big centre. Gimme, gimme. And he got.
Ball went backwards, McAtee picked up the loose ball. Cunningham, the dummy half. Perolini loses it. Nothing wrong with that. That ball just came out, and he's hurt, is Perolini. He's writhing on the floor in agony. Big hit on him, and obviously damaged in some way, Perolini, because the ball just dropped as though it was red hot. This is Broadbent now.
Well, there was an impact there, but Turner again got a fingertip to it. Wasn't seen by the referee. Oh, great defence. Moved up well there.
Carl Hammond with the tackle on Matt Crowther, and Hammond in there again quickly to try and wrestle Anthony Farrell to the ground. That's offside. The ball was knocked forward. There was a Sheffield man in front. He picked it up. The referee, though, has called the knock-on.
Scrappy play from both sides, just panic a little bit. Well, Alan Hunt on this occasion. He was the culprit a few minutes earlier, but he came up with a big hit. Soji loses the football. Well, a lot of the Saints subs warming up on the sideline.
Newlove, we've said he's been quiet. Here's Newlove, cutting inside. Newlove, supports there. Soji's after him. Will he get the ball down for the try? They're claiming it, and the referee, I think, is going to hand this over to the video ref. Anthony Sullivan's claiming the try. I don't think it's a double movement. It didn't look like from here, but let's have a closer look at this with the video ref.
It's the ball carrying arm, should I say, and that looks fine to me. Good presence of mind there by the winger. See how he just holds the arm up that's carrying the football. It doesn't make contact. That's fine. It's on the line, is fine.
Anthony Sullivan waits for the decision. Every eye in the stadium's on the big screen. And tries given. Anthony Sullivan gets his second try here. The Welsh international doubles his tally for the Super League season here on home soil. As I say, the city that gave us his great father.
Nice long ball out wide. The sleeping giant back on the inside. They held off. It was Farrell that was caught short. And the most expensive rugby league player gets the ball away. Good support, though, by Sullivan. And what great second effort. They needed that. They were beginning to rock with the Saints. He took it well under a lot of pressure from Sodji. But the strength took him over. Well done, but put that down to the Newlove break. On the line, just.
Fair try for Sullivan. He just had another look at it himself in the screen then. And Prescott with 5 from 5. Oh, isn't he kicking well? Steve Prescott makes it 32 points to 18 after the early try from Sheffield. Just what the league leaders wanted to keep themselves that little bit further ahead. Restores the balance at half-time.
Nice skills, though, wasn't it? Hammond running across the face of the defence on the blind side. And the big centre, Paul Newlove, coming through at top speed back on the angle.
Garcia did well then. The shout was from Dixon to Mark Aston in a dummy half to leave it on the kickoff. Dixon then went without the ball and Garcia picked it up before it hit the deck. Great work, though, at the dummy half from Simon Booth. Lawless just looks at him and says, where on earth did you come from?
Well, it's shaken them up, that try. St. Helens always have the ability to bounce back. Tremendous individual skills from some of the star players. You can always rely on the likes of Paul Newlove, Kieran Cunningham to make something out of nothing, and this guy too, Steve Prescott.
It was good positioning from Prescott for the kick downfield from Aston. Good chase though from Keith Senior. Here's Hunt again. He sees a little gap and he goes for it, Alan Hunt. Defence closes him down on that occasion.
Enjoys playing in the centre, Alan Hunt now. Really has made a good fist of it. But that's good play by the forwards, and there again, quick play of the ball, but they were nearly caught. I think they have been caught.
They are caught. Arnold was expected to go into dummy half, and Cunningham was motoring up. Oh, this is a great break from Turner. He had to almost leap the referee. Oh, Prescott, he slipped him. Arnold's there, and so too is Carl Hammond. So close. Somatabua again loses the ball. It's play on.
Well, he didn't lose it. There was a hand in there, I'm sure. Definitely a hand dragging that ball out. Looked to me as though it was the loose forward, Chris Joynt. Well, there was more than one man on there. You can do it man on man, but when there's more than one player involved in the tackle.
The news, by the way, of Perolini, who is still on the field and limping.
Kicking out with the feet to the play of the ball. And well spotted there. Matt Crowther felt that. You see Pickavans lashing out. Well spotted by referee David Campbell. A lot of players do that, okay. They try to do that to get up and play the ball quickly, but some of them overemphasize it.
Pickavans penalised. Let me just re-emphasise the news of Pickavans's prop forward colleague Apollo Perolini, who went down injured. He has aggravated an old knee ligament problem, apparently, and he has had the knee heavily strapped, and they are going to see how it goes in this second half. But they have players warming up on the touchline. Perolini, I think, knows he might be off shortly. Penalty is good from Aston. 2 more points. Back now to 2 converted tries, the difference between these two. And Mark Aston is laying the law down to his colleagues, and I think particularly Mr. Savatabua from Fiji. There's the knee of Perolini, heavily strapped, these damaged knee ligaments that he's got in there.
Well, it's a gamble to keep him out there, but they know that they need him. And that just shows you the confidence of this Sheffield side. opting to take the 2 points in a good position to launch an attack. Brings it back to 2 converted tries, as Eddie said. Well, that was lost, but the referee will have to blow it for that one. It was interference. There'll be a penalty. Touch judge did well there. Garcia involved, not allowing the player to get up and attempt to get the ball. Look at the touch judge, and he got his wish.
Double substitution by St Helens. Haig and Morley have come on, 2 young men with young legs. Matavia.
He always lifts their game. He puts his heart and soul into it. They use him as a battering ram in short bursts, but he's effective.
Hammond. Hay just leaning on the grounded player long enough to allow the Sheffield Eagles defence to marshal. Same again here now as Sodji. Just tries to prevent Newlove from making a quick play of the ball. Good tackling then from Sodji on joint. Last one here for the Saints. Oh, clash of heads there. And the Sheffield player has gone down, but the tackle now is completed standing up. And the referee penalises Saints. And Aston takes a quick tap penalty. Makes good, cheap yards up the middle.
Good thinking by the little halfback. You could see that the Saints defence was stood around. He wants to get on with it, and so does the hooker, Lawless. Well, what's happened there?
Penalty to Sheffield Eagles, stealing the ball in the tackle.
More than 1 man in attendance. Prescott and Perolini, you can't do that. Well, St Helens cannot afford to go to sleep again. They keep getting into a convincing lead. Well, the impact by Perolini, perhaps they were badly done to the Saints. It wasn't dragged out. Perolini's shoulder, impact-wise. This will be a blood bin, I feel.
Yes, it's Darren Turner who went down, clutching his face after a clash of heads. He has brandished now the green and white card, and oh yes, it's a problem obviously with his nose for Darren Turner, and he will go off to be patched up. And so Ian Hughes returns to take his place. This meanwhile is Anthony Farrell. Tackle again completed on their feet. St Helens defence moving up in a straight line. They've gone without the ball again. Referee will pull them back for the knock-on.
Well, it was going forward in the first instance, even though the ball finally jinked back. He lost full control of it, did Hay. Well, mistakes aplenty by the Eagles at a time when they were slowly and surely getting back into this game.
Here's Hunt again. Way back in 1989, September, these two first met at Hillsborough. First ever game, and Saints won that, and Danny Arnold's trying to wrap up the points here, but he gets tackled and throws the ball back in the field of play as he was taken into touch by Sofatapua. Good stuff from Arnold, so the movement is allowed to continue, and this is Andy Haig. Crunch tackle on Haig, the 4th in this set of 6. Hammond just tried to step around the defender. Last one, 53 metres, most of them made by Arnold. Joint, ball on the inside. Newlove kicked it forward, straight into the arms of Dixon.
Okay, come on, Billy!
Took it well to the sub, Dixon. Not a bad option, though, to put the ball down. That's impact tackle. That's come clean. Grimley couldn't hold it.
Danny Arnold wants the ball fed out wide to him here. That ball has gone backwards all the way. Perolini almost on one leg, but he's picked it up. Arnold wants it out wide. He's got it now. Arnold trying to take them on the outside again. Crowther does well. Hunt has followed up, and Hunt will jink it. Second try for Alan Hunt here. And St Helens refused to allow that ball to die again. The impact tackle in centre field gave them the possession back. And credit Perolini for getting the ball out to Arnold, and then Arnold instead to Hunt.
Determined play by the Saints outfit. They just did not want to lie down. In and out by Arnold. Good support play by Hunt. He really is in fine form. It had to be scored. The step off the left and the speed off the mark, but this is the tackle there. Bang! Nothing that Grimley could do about that. This is the run from Arnold. Good presence of mind. See how he twists in the tackle, waits for the support. Step. Oh, that is superb. There's nothing better than to see one of these fine athletes stepping, exploding through the gap. He's had a fine game.
He has. But it was Perolini with all the strength that produced the opening. Danny Arnold did well as he fell. Hunt took it with feet above the ground, but soon made the movement over the line. And now Steve Prescott, 100% so far. Oh, and he's pulled that one wide of the post. 20 points to 36. .57.5 minutes gone. Sheffield 20, St Helens 36, and over 6,500 here. We're being told at the Cardiff Arms Park to watch this game.
Pretty high from the centre, Newlove then. Broadbent didn't like it, neither did the crowd.
Andy Hay, another huge tackle on Andy Hay. Aston damps the ball over the top towards the corner. Sodji's after it, but Prescott will win the race. And that's a zero tackle, and good yards here again from Prescott up to the 20-metre line.
Been some great crunch tackles in this match. They really have put their bodies on the line. They'll be sore and sorry, these guys. Pretty warm out there, isn't it?
It is, and Mick Cook has been brought on for his defensive qualities, I think. The number 13 for Sheffield Eagles.
Perolini twisted his leg again in that one. I think it could be the end of Perolini. He's struggling to even walk, never mind run now.
Having a chat. They decide to leave him on. This is Cunningham. Cunningham up the middle. There's Cook. First tackle from the former Sheffield Eagles captain.
He's had
68 metres made.
He's had a fine game, Kieran Cunningham. Runs from dummy half. Ball distribution's been excellent too.
Salvatore dropped it. And he got a touch on it. It didn't go cleanly through his hands.
Yep, right down his chest. Well, this is a moment when you need a hairy chest, I'm afraid. They didn't make the best attempt, did he?
It's not made of Velcro, you know, the ball. Top out from underneath his own sticks by Aston. Here come St Helens again. Hunt gets the pass away to Andy Haig.
Wouldn't surprise me if the Saints opt for a one-pointer here. Just to twist the dagger in the back.
Lovely stuff from Matautia. Brilliant play from Joint. Following up was Newlove. A quite superb try from the league leaders of the Super League. Well, that was a try from the moment that move started, because there was such movement behind the ball carrier. Terrific try from Newlove.
Never mind the one. Let's take the 4 and hope to get the 6. It's a nice little pass, wasn't it? McAtee on a Matautia, back on the inside. Good support play. That is a fine effort. Keeping the ball alive, but more importantly, running onto the pass. Boom, straight onto it. Joint back on the inside. It was neat stuff, wasn't it? The little flick pass. Newlove was charging through like an express train.
The leading scorer in Super League with tries in his last 9 successive games for Paul Newlove. And that is try number 18 of the season already. He's having a great season. Now Prescott, 6 from 7, just the one blemish a few minutes ago. So casual. Adds the extras this time. Saints hit the 42-point mark.
McAtee, neat little pass, holds it up. The big fella, Crunch. 2 go in, and once he releases. But watch Joint. This is all skill. Oh, great stuff. Great pass. Good support play. Well, it was quiet in the first half, but Newlove is bouncing back with venom.
Well, he includes 3 hat-tricks in his tally of 18. £500,000. World's most expensive player. No wonder he's in the England squad for next Wednesday, is it? Richard Price, meanwhile, comes on for Sheffield. St Helens about to go 4 points clear in Super League tonight. Next Wednesday evening, hope you'll join us from Gateshead when we have England, Paul Newlove and all, against the French. Wednesday night at 7:30 from the Gateshead Stadium. And then the big crunch decider, maybe. Wales against England right here on the 26th of June. The Cardiff Arms Park, I fancy, will be packed to the rafters for that. That was a mistake from Sova. In fact, the ball was stolen from him one-on-one by Hammond on the last tackle. It's the turnover, that means. Cunningham. Wigan Saints. It's boiling up, isn't it, for the showdown at Central Park, 21st of June. You'll see that one live and exclusive. The 21st of June is just a week on Friday. Wigan Saints at Central Park. If they don't put the full house notices up there, I'm a Dutchman.
Interference at the play of the ball, and the substitute Richard Price. Alan Hunt, Cunningham, all over the top. Morley included too. Well, we've seen some fine tries, and Alan Hunt really has had a tremendous match.
Perolini staying on the field bravely despite that tape around the knee. It's obviously causing him some discomfort. Dixon, meanwhile, takes the run. Aston setting for a move this way with Broadbent. And this is Richard Price just on. He keeps the movement going. Crowther. Well, the trouble with Sheffield is they're dropping it. They're dropping the ball whenever they get in dangerous opportunities.
It was a forced header, though. It was good position by Anthony Sullivan. When you hover around and hang around a man that's receiving the football, they have a tendency just to take their eyes off it. Keep an eye on the would-be tackler, and that's what occurred on that occasion.
Sheffield have got the ball back. That was a mistake from St Helens. Richard Price said thanks a lot. But the number of errors that Sheffield are making will be alarming their coach, Gary Hetherington. They made 16. And that's the difference at the moment between the two sides.
And what makes matters worse, most of them have come very early in the tackle count.
And when it looked like they were making promising moves that could build towards a try. Here's another promising move. This is Hughes. He doesn't drop it this time. And Ian Hughes gets the 4 points for Sheffield Eagles. Second try of the season for Hughes.
Beautiful pass from Mark Aston. He's still got the skills as a boy. See how he used the dummy runner. They used Broadbent there. That was well worked. Splits open the Saints' defence. Keep your eye on Broadbent coming as a dummy runner now. Here he comes, but it's long out wide. You can see it sucks the defence in. There was a huge gap there. And Hughes gleefully accepts the 4. Well-worked try. Unselfish running there from the prop forward. Misses out 2 men. Skillful pass. Great stuff.
Ian Hughes with the try. He marks his 150th appearance with the 4-pointer. Aston, 4 out of 4. Aston, 5 out of 5. He's kicked well. 26-42.
Beautiful pass running onto the football. Hughes shows the determination. Unselfish running with dummy runners will always help break down the defence.
Ian Hughes with the try, but St Helens, with about 13 and a half minutes to go, look like they're heading to a 4-point lead at the top of the table. Let's see what their skipper, injured today, Bobby Goulding, thinks about it all. He's with Alistair.
Bobby, obviously the important thing is that you're leading, but I could see the grimace on your face when that went in.
Yes, yeah, there was. We're not. The reason is why we're not completing our sets of 6. We're losing the ball far too much on the 3rd and 4th tackle, and you know that means we don't get the kick in. And John McAtee's put a few good kicks in. The fullback's been under a lot of pressure, and you know, we've come up with tries off it, but we're just not completing our sets of 6.
It's all about attitude, and you want to get everything right.
Yeah, we want to get everything right. You know, if you don't get everything right against Wigan, you're going to suffer the consequences. But you know, the lads are they keep him plugging away now, and Mac has shoved in another bomb, and hopefully we can come up with something.
The referee will pull them back for the knock-on, just to emphasise the point that Bobby Goulding was making there. This is only the 3rd time this half that St Helens have held on to the ball for their full set of 6.
It's been a problem for both sides, but unfortunately for the Sheffield Eagles, far more often than what Saints have. So I'm sure that the Saints coach, Sean McRae, won't be too impressed with some of the defensive lapses too, but it's pretty warm out there, and at 42-26 they've created some good tries of the Saints. Slowly but surely I feel that the Saints are beginning to get it right. Okay, they've been disrupted with injuries.
Don't forget, Wigan against Saints, perhaps the title decider, with us a week on Friday. Chance here for St Helens to get more points on the board, and he's hauled down. Desperate defence now from Sheffield Eagles. Cunningham, he told them behind his back he was going that way. Joint, and the ball spun out the back door. The referee will give St Helens the penalty. The man, I think, was stood in front. They're running it. Matautia, one-handed, he gets it away. It's patted quickly out this way to Perolini, and Perolini is cleaned out with a tackle, and he comes up with a mistake.
Well, Garcia's fingertip.
Garcia, yeah,
gets to
one-on-one.
it. He'll play the knock on. Well, he's struggled well, hasn't he, Perolini? A bad knee injury.
Next weekend on Friday we have Warrington against Leeds for you. Vital match for Leeds as they struggle to get away from the bottom. And London Halifax next Sunday evening. We're live at the Valley for the Broncos against the Blue Sox. The match kicks off at 6:30. We're live from the Valley at 6. That's the home of Charlton Athletic Football Club in South London, and I'm sure we will see many of you Sky Sports Super League viewers down there for that. The Broncos coming home after so many journeys on the road, and they have another big journey tomorrow to face the champions Wigan. And talking to Tony Curry, their coach, today, he is very, very confident of going to Central Park and coming up with something interesting. McAllister has come on for Eagles meanwhile. Aston with a kick downfield. Arnold collects it before it goes out of play. That Wigan-London game tomorrow, Steve-O, is an absolute corker.
Yeah, it should be a cracker. Looking forward to it. Both sides, as we know, play outstanding football. And that's what's been on offer today. Both sides really have kept this ball alive. Some outstanding individual efforts, but both sides also have worked hard to prize open the defence. Sheffield, 26 points. They'll be pretty pleased with that. I'm sure that their coach, Gary Hetherington, will also. But they just fall apart at vital moments, don't they? Those mistakes really just bugs them.
Hammond. Price with the good tackle. Cunningham. McAtee. Good to see the little scrum half back on the Super League stage, or on the Super League stage for the first time. This is his first team appearance for over 2 years. John McAtee.
He's done a fine job as well. He's done what was needed. Hasn't done too much individual stuff. He's played the team game. I'm sure that's what his coach, Sean McRae, would have told him to do, and he's done it very well.
And he will be pleased also with the South Wales result. because John McAtee was on loan to South Wales earlier on this season. Came back a couple of weeks ago. And that is the final score from that game earlier today. South Wales 37, Carlisle 18. Good win for South Wales, that.
Good effort from Ian Hughes, keeping the ball alive.
Aston will kick. They're all onside. Good kick that. Oh, Crowther pinched it off Prescott. Has he got the legs on Sullivan? Yes. Gets the try down. Referee looks to the touch judges and he wants to take another look. Obviously, touch judges either side were not convinced 100%. Referee David Campbell was also unseen, sighted rather, so let's take a look at the screen, he says.
Nothing wrong with that. It was just the sheer speed of the skillful move. Little chip over the top from Mark Aston was superb. It got the perfect bounce.
He thinks he's got the try, and it's confirmed. Try's given. David Campbell was purely and simply unsighted as Crowther went over for his 4th try in Super League, and he took the safe option.
Good play by the Eagles. Long ball out wide. He knew that there was no sweeper there. The kick on the back there was an awful bounce for Prescott. But good play. That really was a great try. Well worked by Aston. He's had a fine game.
And he's kicked superbly all evening as Mark Aston. 100% record, and the gap now is 10 points.
Look at that malicious bounce. Steve Prescott cannot believe it. With the standoff, Matt Crowther. Sovatabua was there too. And even in support, the man that created it with a fine kick, Mark Aston. Carries the ball in the left so he could fend with the right. There's nothing wrong with that. Was always going to be a try for mine. Well, 42-32.
Yes, only 10
points. Do they have time?
They have 7 minutes. They have got time. They're gradually grinding their way back into this match, aren't they?
Nerves are jingling. It's up the jumper time now for the Saints. I'm sure the message from the Saints coach, Sean McRae, was saying, just drive it forward, nothing silly. Do not let them get possession.
The word from the touchline is they're trying to get Pedolini off, and Pedolini doesn't want to come off.
Well, they should have brought him off a long time ago. He struggled out there in the last five minutes or so. Twisted his knee badly on 2 occasions.
High kick from Hammond. No protection here for Sovatabua. He drops it again. Ball comes back. John McAtee, it's still the 5th and final tackle. Little dab through. Mick Cook's after it. Mick Cook nearly loses it. Deary me, the St Helens player was offside anyway.
He was in front of the kicker, so therefore he must give him 10 metres. He failed to do that. It's a good chase by Arnold. Well, it was really a mistake, and you can see that other than one St Helens player, the rest were offside. And he never allowed him the 10 metres. Well spotted by the referee Campbell. Well, we're in for a thriller now. Who would have thought it?
2 of the most attractive sides in Super League. 50 tries for Sheffield before today, 73 tries for St Helens. The problem for Sheffield is they tend to concede a few as well. Remember, they lost last Sunday 33-30 at Halifax. Here they are in South Wales with just a 10-point deficit against the league leaders. And little more than 5 minutes to go, and they're attacking again. Sovatabua just loses his footing. Newlove is able to complete the tackle, the last. Aston, that ball looped into his arms. McAtee's after him. Aston plonks the ball over the top, and Prescott has to pick it up. Well done by Grimley. He stood his ground, invited Prescott to try and take him on the inside, and then made the tackle. Well, fitness will come into it now. It's not as hot as we experienced in Paris and Carcassonne this week, but it is pretty warm out there. Oops, there's the knock on. It's a mistake by Andy Haig.
What on earth are Saints doing in trying to keep this ball alive? It should have been a simple one-man, straight up. They do not have to force the play. They've got the 10-point lead. Well, there'll be a lot said to the Saints outfit. They've had this game in command so many times and allowed Sheffield back into it.
Referee is pointing to the players on the outside here and was saying they're offside, but they will play the first knock on.
Yep, from Hammond, who did get a fingertip to it, so it's head and feet for the Eagles. You notice Hammond just gets his fingertips to it there before the fullback Savatabua came involved.
And David Campbell saying, I'm not missing much, he says to the players as they scrum down. He saw that one, he did well.
He's right, he hasn't missed much today.
Mick Cook, well, it's a lonely old existence out there on the field with all the players of both sides around you. And if the referee doesn't blow his own trumpet, nobody will, not even you.
Well, he likes to chat, doesn't he, David?
They all do.
Oh, I'm not so sure. Not many talk to me.
Don't blame them for that. Oh, dear me. Nearly a chance for Savatabua again. He just bounced off his chest.
It was a good tackle, though, wasn't it, from Paul Newlove? It was crunch time there, and it had to be. Bit of a flop. Well, frustration there from Cook. Trying desperately to get hold of possession. They know that the seconds are ticking away. Well, this is stick it up your jumper time now from the Saints. No panic. One out.
Pick advance. Desperate defence from St Helens. Cunningham up the middle again from Cunningham. Good yards again from the St Helens hooker. McAtee, Perolini. 3 tackles gone. They thought about a little chip over the top then from Hammond, but he took the tackle. Here's Joint. Straight down the throat of the Sheffield Eagles defence. Seconds ticking away for Sheffield here. It's with Hammond. They want the one. They've got the one. That will kill the game off, I fancy.
Not only will it give them 2 vital Super League points, but it'll put a smile on the face of their coach, Sean McRae. They did everything right. Good hard work from the forwards, set it up. Hammond gave himself plenty of space. Bang, 1 point.
So an important 1-pointer from Carl Hammond. We are approaching the last minute of this match. And a little foot got to that, belonging to Danny McAllister. Ian Pickavance with the tackle. Here's Mick Cook again. Frenchman, Garcia, it's gone well today. He's kept it going despite the fact he played in Carcassonne midweek. This is little Johnny Lawless. He's still got plenty of pace. He's there and he wants to fend Prescott off. He dropped the ball. Arnold picked it up and said thanks.
Well, it was worth the gamble to keep it alive. Good tackle from Prescott, but good work also from Danny Arnold. He didn't give up the ghost. He was there to pick up the pieces. Great stuff from the winger.
Apollo Perolini now waves the white flag and goes off to be replaced by Fogarty. It's been a big effort from the big Western Samoan. Here's Sullivan. Sodji's after him. Sodji gets him.
Been a great battle between Sullivan and Sodji, but Sullivan has come out on tops today. He really is back to his best, isn't he, Anthony Sullivan?
Hammond hammers the ball downfield. That'll be good enough for him. That'll be good enough for Saints. There's the full-time siren. St Helens open up a 4-point gap at the top of Super League. And the 100%ers march on. You call them invincible at your peril when you talk to Sean McRae, their coach. But thus far, they are having the look of an invincible side. And with men like Paul Newlove there is always chances that can be snapped up for tries. Alan Hunt has had an outstanding match here in South Wales, and the 100% record, the only one in the game, stays intact. Sheffield Eagles 32, St Helens 43. Great game at South Wales.
Coming soon. Nigel Benn steps out of retirement and into the ring to fight WBO super middleweight champion Steve Collins. Coming soon. Big Daddy Bo defends his WBO world heavyweight crown against Andrew Galotta. Coming soon. New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. The three biggest names in rugby compete in the first ever Tri-Nation Series. Coming soon. And we're at Lord's for the Benson and Hedges Cup Final. Coming soon on Sky Sports.
I knew you'd come back for the new 106. This is the new Tony. Marry me, Rosie, and we'll take the 106 to Australia. Imagine it. Australia. The most unspoilt land on Earth. Then back to our cozy little semi and fill it with little Roses and Tonys. What do you say?
What's the matter? I've just had the most awful thought. So have I.
Peugeot, the drive of your life. With a Pentium processor inside your PC, open the doorway to legendary internet sites, like St Andrews. For the best of the internet, it's the Intel Pentium processor. With a Pentium processor inside your PC, open the doorway to fast-moving programs, like FIFA 96. For the best of PC software, it's the Intel Pentium processor.
I'm just as choosy with what goes on my hair as with what goes in my column.
Pantene, for hair that looks so healthy it shines.
The new Stena-Line HSS. Now you can experience jet-powered journeys you thought possible only in the air. The comfort you enjoy in your own home. The leisure facilities you find in an entertainment complex. The quality of staff and choice of food you expect in a hotel, combined with an unrivaled frequency of service. The new Stena-Line. More ships and more sailings on more routes to Ireland, France, and the continent than any other line. Stena-Line, the next generation of ferry company.
Sky subscriber exclusive from Guardian Direct. Avoid nasty shocks. Take out low-cost home or car insurance with Guardian Direct and £25 cashback will come your way. Call 0645 282820 for a free quote and your subscriber benefit when you take out a policy. Or on your head be it. Don't miss out if you're a Sky subscriber. Call Guardian Direct on 0645 282820.
When you buy the new Peugeot 106... Oh, you're sheep-sitting my car! You get free insurance for a year.
Mission accomplished in South Wales for St Helens. They have beaten Sheffield Eagles by 43 points to 32. An exciting match for over 6,000 people here at the Arms Park, and St Helens now go 4 points clear at the top of Super League. And let's hear from one of the real heroes of the day for the Saints, Alan Hunt.
You're asking them to be quiet. I don't think they're going to be. Alan, a tremendous day, a tremendous success today.
Yeah, you know, it's always going to be hard. I mean, it was a away game for us, I suppose, in a way it was for Sheffield as well, but, you know, they took a gamble. And I think Rugby League was the, you know, benefactor today. It was a good opening game. Don't think the coach would be too pleased. A few more mistakes than they would have hoped for. But at least it was the right result for St Helens.
You are perfectionists at St Helens, but Bobby Goulding was saying on the sideline you didn't make enough use of the set of 6.
No, like I say, we dropped a lot of ball, you know, first, second, third tackle. I don't think anybody's to blame, you know. I know a couple of times early on in the second half, I was a culprit, you know. It's something I'm not pleased with, and none of the players will be. And obviously, I'm sure Sean will have words with us.
How important is everything to be in place in time for that Wigan game in, what, a couple of weeks' time now?
Oh, obviously, it's very important because it looks like it could be, you know, the league decider, you know. We've got to build up, you know, steadily for it, and I mean, it's a special occasion when you play Wigan, and it's, you know, it's always a hard game. But there's so much at stake this season that, you know, it just adds that extra bit of spice.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks a lot, cheers.
Had a great game, Alan Hunt. There are the statistics from this match. Final score at the top. Scrums, 11 to the Saints. Penalties, 7-4, the count to Sheffield. It was their first half, but Saints had the better of things in the second 40 minutes. Now let's hear from Sheffield Eagles scrum half, Mark Aston, who's kicked well.
Mark Aston, not quite the result you wanted, but you did battle right to the end.
Yeah, we kept going. We showed some enterprising stuff. Obviously, we're disappointed. But, you know, it's great for Rugby League. The crowd here today, I don't know what the attendance was, but what a great atmosphere down at this ground. And hopefully now, South Wales will get a Super League chance.
Has this proved that it can work down here?
I believe so. You know, the people down in Wales love Rugby League. We're not competing with rugby union. We want to play in summer, and we just want to, you know, play rugby.
Well, behind you, lots of celebrating people. It's been a celebration whether you've lost or won today.
Yeah, it's a celebration. It's a great spectacle for Rugby League. And as I say, it's been a great day, great afternoon. We're disappointed that we got beat, but we've played against the top team today, and they've shown the class.
Thanks for talking to us.
I'd just like to say, I love you, Dawn, and the kids. I'll be home tomorrow.
Safe home, Mark Haston. And here are the top tacklers from this match. Keith Senior and Chris Joint leading the way, closely followed by Anthony Farrell and Apollo Perolini, who played on despite the knee injury. Matt Crowther and Simon Booth, 20 apiece. Paul Broadbent and Kieran Cunningham, they all did well, the forwards today. Well, now let's have a word with Anthony Sullivan. Of course, this city gave us his late great father Clive, and it has been quite a return to Cardiff for young Anthony.
Anthony Sullivan, nice particularly for you to come here and score some tries.
Yeah, it's a good victory for us. We didn't play particularly well, but we've come away with the 2 points, which is the main thing.
Clearly, your father was born here. It must mean something to you to be able to play somewhere like this.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to, you know, when we found out the switch we was playing down here, I was looking forward to this game. So special for me playing in Cardiff, and I've enjoyed myself today.
You got the victory, perhaps one or two things that perhaps you might be a bit frustrated about?
Yeah, well, we've got a lot of injuries and some young players coming to the side today. So, like I said before, we're just happy to get the 2 points.
But on the whole, a thumbs up for this South Wales experience?
Yeah, the support's been fantastic, both the Sheffield and the Saints supporters and a lot of the local people. It all goes well for the Super League team, hopefully, in the future.
Thanks, Anthony.
Cheers.
Top of the table in Super League now looks like that. The Saints 100%. They lead the way, 4 points clear of Wigan, who take on London tomorrow. Sheffield, they stay in 6th for the time being. Well, it's well worth just looking at this occasion in some detail now, because it has been a terrific experiment, really. In some ways forced on Sheffield Eagles because they couldn't get the Don Valley Stadium today, being used for other things. But you've got to take your hat off to Sheffield for coming down here to South Wales and taking the gamble, as the players have said. Brian Ashton, you're from, well, I was going to say nearly this part of the world, not too far away. 6,000 people, a great advert for the game and a great end to the day, great experiment.
Oh, tremendous, yes. I mean, can I just add to what you've said about Sheffield? I think it's very brave of them to come down here and give up, you know, ultimately what is home advantage. But I'm sure they'll feel it's well worthwhile, even though they didn't win the game, because It was a very entertaining game. There's been a good crowd. I suspect 1,000 more maybe than people expected. And I can see this happening again. And I'm sure, as Steve-O's just been saying, if the Wales team does start to improve, then they'll welcome us from England to beat them here.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the thing, Steve, isn't it? I know they're only in Division 2 at the moment, but if they get into Super League, as we keep hearing there's a possibility, this place would be terrific full.
We've got to get to the situation that they have in Australia, which is New South Wales versus Queensland. You know, they hate each other. OK, it's North versus South, so it's England versus Wales. We've got to get to that situation where people say, OK, in a fun way, that we hate them. We had the same situation, Wigan versus Bath. We wanted to get as many points and vice versa. It's all about competition. You've got to get it through there. And I just add to what you've both said in regards to Sheffield, not only taking a gamble, but they're a club that want to be progressive. They're a club that want to see the game go forward. They're not selfish. They've been in that situation. They're only new members to the game of rugby league themselves in the Steel City of Sheffield. They know what they've had to go through, and I wish that all other clubs had the same situation where they say, forget about the past and what has gone on before, let's look towards the future. Let's all pull together in the same direction.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He is one of the great visionaries of the game, Gary Hetherington. He gave birth, if you like, to Sheffield Eagles 12 years ago. He was quite happy to take the club around the country in many ways before they settled at Don Valley. He's been brave enough to bring it down here to Cardiff now, and I think we owe him a word or two, maybe the last word on this situation down here in Cardiff. He's with Alistair.
Gary, it's been a success for you, do you think?
I think so. Well, there's over 6,000 people turned up. There's been plenty of action, typical Super League match, plenty of points, very competitive game, and it's certainly a super venue, an excellent venue here in Cardiff, and I think the fans have certainly enjoyed it.
Would you recommend this experiment to other sides who fancy just trying it out?
Well, I think, Super League's got to expand, and I think we're well on course to do that. So I think today has been a very successful operation, really, and I'm sure that this will be the first of many.
Sheffield obviously didn't get the result they wanted, but there were positive things for you.
Yes, as I said, a pretty competitive game. We didn't exert the pressure in the second half, but credit to St Helens, they come up with some spectacular tries, always kept in front, so made it a difficult task for ourselves. I thought there were some very positive things in our own performance, but certainly congratulations to St Helens.
Thanks very much.
And congratulations too to Gary Hetherington, always diplomatic in victory or defeat, and it's been a very worthwhile experiment for Sheffield Eagles and the Super League as a whole. Let's look at the game in some detail now. Brian Ashton, you have played against Wigan, you know their strengths, and we're building up in Super League now to a huge game, Wigan Saints, in about a fortnight's time. What chances for St Helens, do you think, at Central Park?
I would imagine, they'll be delighted they won tonight because they're away from home. It's 2 more points, put them 4 points clear, but I'm not all that certain they'll be over pleased with the way they played overall. Collectively, they must have played better than they did tonight. There were 1 or 2 very good individuals, but that's not going to beat Wigan. It's going to be a collective team effort that's got to last for the full 80 minutes. And when they got clear tonight, as I'd suggested they might do in the second half, then they suddenly seemed to lack discipline and let Sheffield creep in for a couple of what were fairly soft tries by rugby league standards, I would think.
Well, indeed, Steve-O, the defence for St Helens needs to be tightened, and Sean McRae knows that. He doesn't need us to tell him.
No, it's a problem that he knows he has to face up to, and I don't think he'll be very, very happy, especially with the second half performance. All right, they created some good tries and they worked it well, but they always seem to have that edge. They always seem to have the firepower. Nothing much from Newler for a while, but then he just explodes for 10 minutes, and that's why they come away with the points. But it's in their defence as well that they've got to get things sorted out, but it's also a mental attitude. Wigan have been strong for one reason only. You could call it being Brusson, if you like, but they love to just keep at it, keep going. They wouldn't have gone back. They would not have gone to sleep. They just say, come on, come on, come on. And I'm afraid they lacked that little bit of power, Saints. They've got to get it into it and saying, come on, we've got to be the best. Brusson, it's no good just talking about it and just telling it in the press and the media. They've got to show it out on the field. And unfortunately, they have not yet done that.
They might on the 21st of June, when the big battle will be seen here on Sky Sports. What else have we got for you, though, on the Super League in the week ahead? We've got Wigan against London tomorrow. We'll be at Central Park, assessing Wigan's chances. 10 o'clock against the Broncos. Next Wednesday, it's the Super League European Championship. That continues, England-France. We're up in Gateshead Wednesday at 7:30. Match starts at 8. And Wales-England here on the 26th of June. What a week it promises to be, that beginning on the 21st of June for Super League. Boots and all Thursday at 10. Join us for that on Sky Sports 2. And next week, it's Warrington against Leeds on Friday from Wilderspool. And London-Halifax next Sunday on the 16th. We're live and exclusive at the Valley. We say thanks and goodbye to Brian Ashton. Been great having you with us, and you too. Bye-bye.
Stone's Super League coverage on Sky is sponsored by The Times.
Big Time Boxing, live from the Newcastle Arena, is next here on Sky Sports. With some heavyweight action on the undercard, tonight's main bout is the WBO World Featherweight title fight between Naseem Hamed, who makes his second defence of the crown, against the challenger Puerto Rican Daniel Alethea.
We can't allow this to happen.
You what?
What you propose threatens our very existence. Suppose you were to go back and inadvertently kill your own grandfather, changing the course of history. This facility must be terminated.
It's not doing any harm.
You wrote to your brother. I have cracked it, our kid. I can now isolate a single second in time. I'm in control. I needn't worry about me finances again.
With the Vodafone digital network, I'm charged by the second, not the minute. So I'm finally in control of me finances.
The Vodafone network. You were talking about your phone bill.
Yeah, and excuse me, but how could a karaoke machine kill me granddad? So very cross the Mersey.
We'll just have to keep on looking.
The Vodafone network. You are not alone.
I'm careful with my money. When I heard there was a gold Visa card with a low APR of 17.9%, I thought, that's the card for me.
I didn't think I'd qualify, but I called anyway. If you're over 21 and earn £20,000, it's easy to apply.
I chose this card because, there are lots of benefits, but what's the point of 90-day cover against loss, theft, or damage?
You get a second year's warranty on items like televisions and dishwashers absolutely free.
I wanted a higher credit limit. I use it everywhere I go. Not again.
An even lower introductory APR of 14.5% till the end of this year. I know a good deal when I see one.
At last.
At last, more people can sign up for a gold Visa card. If you'd like to be one of them, call the Royal Bank now on 0800 171 172.
An ancient evil returns.
Something's coming. Genghis Khan conquer half the world in his lifetime. I intend to finish the job.
The only hope.
Lamont Cranston.
Known as the Shadow.
I'm not afraid.
afraid of you.
Now he faces his greatest challenge.
Don't like what you see.
Can he possibly save the world, his girl, and his identity? Only Alec Baldwin, the Shadow, knows. The TV premiere, 10:30 tonight on the Movie Channel.
Super football all round. Sheer quality. That is absolutely stunning. Wonderful football.
This is Sky Sports, part of the Sky Television Network.